Well, hello all you beautiful people. How do I know that you're beautiful? Well, because you're watching this channel, and this channel is for sexy people. And sexy people sometimes like to build computers, as proofed by this. Yeah, I just changed them out. These were all bloody earlier. It was a mess in here. But now there's a computer, so I think it was worth it. Maybe I'll have a nice battle scar to go along with it. This is how you can tell someone's been building computers while not paying attention. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put together the ultimate 1440p gaming and also productivity machine. I think there's like a group of us out there who like to use our computers to create games and music and movies and whatever else we do. We create stuff. We need the extra horsepower for that reason. Maybe we're just rendering our entire Blu-ray and DVD library. We want a lot of horsepower, but we also want a game. I've found that this is kind of the sweet spot right now. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever, but right now I have two of these systems in my house, just hanging out here. I always use OEM keys. I grab them over at whokeys.com. This is the price you're going to pay for Windows 11 Pro if you get a retail key. Let's check those prices on whokeys.com. $30, no, we can do better. Put in TS25, click apply. There we go, $23.22. You got Windows 11 Pro, Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11 Home, Windows 10 Home, and we have a couple different flavors of LTSC. 2021 gets updates until 2027, and the 2021 IoT edition gets updates until 2032. Also, if you're sick of paying that monthly fee for Office, you can get an offline version of Office. They've got 2019 and 2016. You know, 2016 will get most people by, in my opinion. You can also use the coupon code TS25 on these to save 25% on this as well. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. All right, just put in my card info. There we go. Click on View Keys and Codes once you get to the User Center. Click on Get the Key. You'll see your key right here in the middle. Go ahead and highlight that, copy that, press Start, and then type Activate. You'll see Activation Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here it says Not Active. Just click on Change Product Key. Paste in our product key, and then click on Activate. Hey, look at that. Active. Head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. We're going to put together, in my opinion, the ultimate 1440p system for anyone who wants to do basically everything. We already mentioned this a little bit, but let's talk about the heart of this thing and which one of these you should pick, and why I've decided to go with a laptop part for a desktop. Well, these laptop parts are stupid fast. This is the Ryzen 9 7945HX, 16-core, 32 threads. It's a PCI Express 5.0. Turbo's up to 5.4 gigahertz. Now, the regular one's got 64 megabytes of cache. The X3D gives you 144 megabytes of cache. If you're not familiar with how cache works, you can really just think of it as like extra frequency on top for certain things. Gaming, you're going to see a little bit of a boost, but I'm just not sure if you're going to see this much of a boost, because honestly, all going to be almost the same speed. This will get a little bit of a boost, but we're talking about, you know, $30, $40 worth of a boost. We're not talking about like $120, $130 worth of a boost. So I'm going to recommend one of these two, depending on what you need. Do you need PCI Express Gen 5 for your M.2? Yes or no? If not, get the SE. It's loaded. It's still got your PCI Express Gen 5 right there. And yeah, I've got a 5950X in my main rig in the other room. That's the one I use for everything else. And this one is substantially faster, so much faster that it makes me go, why? It runs faster, it games faster, and it uses like, I don't know, 1/6 to 1/4 as much power. So I love it for rendering and stuff because I don't have to, I can like leave it rendering all night long and it's going to just be sipping on the power. It's not going to be using nearly as much power as my big rig. So I like these. The motherboard and CPU for this price, honestly, to get a CPU alone that is as performant as this, you're going to be paying about the same price, if not a little bit more. So with this one, you get the efficient CPU and a motherboard. Now my only gripe with the motherboard is there's not a lot of USB, but it does have USB 3.2 on the back. So I've got mine hooked up to a hub and it works fine. You know, the USB 3.2 hubs are plenty fast for most people. Next up for the cooling on this, I decided to go with the static pressure fan here from Noctua. There's a few different Noctuas out there on the market, but this one is the one that's specifically designed for static pressure, and it's the one I use for CPUs, especially since we're, you know, we got this thing down firing directly on the motherboard and all the other components. So you want a static pressure fan right on top of this to just keep the static pressure going. All right, it's time to talk about graphics cards. I'm going to give you a bunch of choices, including the one that I've gone with and also another one that I've been using, and that's a Gigabyte 4070 Super. Now these I would recommend grabbing on eBay. Head on over there, grab yourself a 4070 Super. They're still stupid expensive. I mean, they're really, really fast for the money. Now the reason I like the 4070s is a couple different reasons. I'm not huge onto the 5 series because they dropped support for 32-bit CUDA, and we're gonna have to wait for a year until they open source that, and then we can maybe hope to get some support for the older CUDA games when it comes to 32-bit physics and stuff. So I don't like that. I don't like the direction some of the stuff's going with the 5 series either, and they're just obsessed with fake frames. I mean, Nvidia is still kind of a mess anyway when it comes to like the last few generations, but these are very performant. They work, and the Gigabyte and the MSI both are extremely quiet and efficient. So either one of these is going to be just fine. But I happen to have the MSI in one of my systems and the Gigabyte in the other. Both are whisper silent and overclock well. I guess they undervolt overclock well. The other option is the 9070 XT, which is supposed to be less expensive than this. But the 9070 XT, if you can get it at retail, if you got a micro center or something nearby, those are faster than anything I've talking about in this video. So yeah, maybe you can get that. If not, there's one other option that's about to come out. And if you can get one of these at retail, this might be the best way to go. The AMD RX 9060 XT. Faster than a 5060 Ti. You can get them in 16 gigabytes. And the rumors are, I've seen rumors all over the place, but I've seen rumors of 429. I've also seen rumors of, yep, there we go, 379. I've seen rumors of 349 and 399. So if you see one of these 16 gigabytes 399, stupid good deal. Now, of course, they won't do Physx, so you'll still have that problem, but if you don't care, then whatever. And in the future, maybe you'll get some support because Nvidia is going to open source some of that stuff. All right, so that's what I would go with when it comes to my GPU for just 1440p gaming. All right, next up for the memory. This is weird. Now, even though it's a desktop board, they're using laptop-sized memory. So we got some SODIMMs right here. I grabbed 32 gigabytes of this Crucial memory. Got a 32 gigabyte kit. It's a pretty good deal there for $77.99. 5600 mega transfers. The motherboard says that it'll only work at 5200 mega transfers, but this works just fine. Had no issues with it whatsoever. And look how happy this person is gaming here with their no latency downsides. Yes. And then for the hard drive, well, I got a few different options here. One of these, because it's, I guess the Samsung stuff's kind of the industry standard. They're good. I just had one, so that's what's going to go in there. There's a lot of really good NAND flash memory out there these days. And right now it's on sale for 40% off, so even if you don't need it, just go ahead and get it. You get that little heat spreader there too, but you're not going to need it with this motherboard because it comes with the, comes with its own stuff. When it comes to the secondary drive, well, I got one of these. I think that's the one I got. I got one of these Oricos. I like them. They're good, super fast, and I guess they have a really, really good price to performance ratio. And that's why I got them. I did a whole video on this. I'm not going to cover it here. But, they utilize this interesting caching technology so that most operations are going to be like 7,000 megabytes per second. This one might even be faster than the Samsung. It's stupid fast. The cache does run out after a while. So if you were transferring from another drive that is just as fast, like 7,000 megabytes a second, after that cache fills up, it's going to slow down to 6,000, 5,000, something, somewhere in that range. It'll slow down a little bit. But my problem is when testing these things, I didn't have any other drives that were that fast, so it's just going to be fast. Except for the power supply, this one requires an SFX form factor power supply. The one I got for this is, I think, an EVGA, but couldn't find that in stock anywhere, and these Lian Lees are good, especially at this price point. You always want to make sure you get good components when it comes to power. Lian Li always uses good stuff. This is 80 plus gold as well. For the price, I think that's a really good way to go. And last but not least, for the case, I've had a lot of fun with this case in the past. This is the Cooler Master NR200P. I don't have the version 2 because I'm just reusing a pink version 1. And now I don't have all the fans installed, so it's going to be running a little bit warmer than it should. I have to go find the plate for the bottom or the fan mount for the bottom, but the position that I have the power supply in makes it so that I can't fit a fan in the front, like a fan that's supposed to be shooting upward, but I can fit one in the back just above the CPU. It needs more fans, and there's not a lot of room to mount a fan in the front, so I need to put some more fans on the bottom of this thing, and I will do that probably soon. Case is fine. It's a little bit cramped and whatever, but it's little, so I'm probably better off if I use big cases, but that's just what I'm using here. All right, let's go and talk about gaming and play some games and just goof off and see how this runs. First thing I want to do is open up the new Doom game. I got the Dark Ages right here, which I keep calling Quake the Dark Ages in my brain. I went to go play this the other day, and I started scrolling through my Steam library down by the queues, and I was like, oh, I got it. Where is it? I can't find it. And I was like, what's going on? And I went up to the top, and I typed Quake the Dark Ages. I was like, nothing's coming up. And then so I was like, let me look at my recent, and it was like Doom, the Dark Ages. And I was like, I swear to God. So I guess Quake is the game we wanted, and Doom is the game we got. If you haven't played this, Yeah, it's good. It's Doom. It's no Doom Eternal. It's no Doom 2016. It's quite a bit different, but it is interesting that they took some risks when it comes to the gameplay. It's now about parrying and blocking and jumping and landing on hordes of enemies because all of a sudden you're 1,000 pounds or something. I don't know. There's two things in my brain that make up Doom, and this is from John Romero himself talking about how he designed those games. He liked to have periods of tense exploration followed by periods of very intense combat. Having everything scripted and, I know what's going to happen almost all the time. I'm not surprised by many things. Certainly not as much as Doom 3. That one was surprise in every closet. Every time you open a room, there's something going to jump out and get you, right? It's cool if you want to go and just kill demons and stuff. It's beautiful to look at. Anyway, at 1440p, just running it on the Ultra Nightmare setting. DLSS is on quality. I couldn't even figure out how to turn that off, but whatever. Looks good. So the average frame rate is 112.8. Runs perfectly fine on a 1440p monitor. 1% lows are 102. So this new IDTech engine, the latest version of the IDTech, even though it's got forced ray tracing, which I kind of hate, but it's so smooth. If you run it at 1080p, you're getting 144 FPS and a 1% low of 132. So again, yeah, just really good gameplay. All right, let's go ahead and look at the other Bethesda game that doesn't use IDTech for some weird reason. I know they probably had issues with the big open world and stuff, but they could have worked on it. They're Bethesda, Microsoft, right? ZeniMax, big companies. Anyway, we'll leave it alone. Unreal Engine 5 games, what a mess. All right, so Oblivion on 1440 Ultra with DLSS on quality. Getting about 67 FPS, it's pretty good. 1% lows are 29 though, 29. If we turn off the DLSS, we're only getting 52 FPS. The 1% lows improved to 31, so I guess it all depends. I mean, I was doing the same area of the game, but yeah. Turning it down to 1080p, and you can pretty much stay above 60 FPS most of the time. It's averaging 65, but the 1% lows are still 35.6, so are you playing this on 1080 at a system like this? I don't know. All right, let's move on and take a look at Cyberpunk. Now, 1440 on the RTX Ultra mode with no DLSS, it's getting 42 FPS. 1% low, 34.9. Now that's because I turned off DLSS and I've got it on the RTX Ultra mode, which I do not play this game like that. I actually turn the RTX down or off. I don't really even care about it that much. It's fine. Anyway, if you turn DLSS on, you're getting 72.5 FPS with a 1% low of 55.9. And honestly, DLSS looks very good in this game. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, and these are not fake frames. These are just your regular old DLSS. They do have DLSS 4 now for Cyberpunk, but I don't think that's how I tested this, just DLSS 3. Anyway, last but not least, let's take a look at Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I'm running this on Ultra with SMAA. That's how I like it, all right. So DLSS, we're getting 148.8 FPS with a 1% low of 119.9. And then if you turn on DLSS, you're getting 175.6 FPS with a 1% low of 125.1. You can pretty much play just about anything you want on this, except for Unreal Engine 5 games with all of their stupid effects turned on. Last thing I'll do is just do a canned benchmark just so you can play along at home and try some things out. Let's talk about Unigen superposition because that taxes the GPU and the CPU at the same time, so it's got all these physics and stuff going on. And with that one, on our 4K optimized setting, we're getting an average of 114.83. The score is 15.352, and the minimum is 95.58. Those are some crazy numbers for superposition. If you've never used it, go ahead and try it on your system, see what you get. I'm kind of curious. So that's my pick for a 1440p system right now. I'm really liking this all-in-one motherboard CPU combo. I know some people got feelings about that, and the PC part picker won't even list it right now. They have no plans of listing these at the moment. I think it's because they don't want to write the code to make it so that if you pick one of these Minisforum motherboards, well, it also has to fill in the CPU as well. I think this could be automated pretty easily. Instead of making a brand new category for, motherboard CPU combo, maybe just have it set so that if someone picks that motherboard, it automatically fills in the CPU as well. Just fill it in with whatever CPU it comes, 7545 HX, just have it automatically fill that in. You could probably script that pretty easily without breaking anything. So that way, if someone picks that CPU or that motherboard, it'll fill in the other form. That way you don't have to make a completely new field called CPU motherboard combo. That would be a pain. It would break all kinds of things on the site. But just do that, PC part picker people, and I think it might be able to work. PC part picker people pick the best parts. That's enough of that. Last but not least, you're going to need a mouse and a keyboard and a controller and all that stuff, and we've got you covered. Half price on our mice right now with the coupon code HappyMouse. And we also have our controllers and our water-resistant keyboards that I'm using. Everything's right here on the desk, by the way. There you go, look at that. And hi, there you go. Nice, I like this because it's quiet, and I picked the poppiest, absolute poppiest keys I could find when it comes to membrane. So even though they're membrane, they're super poppy. Mousepad, whatever else. Head over to epicpants.com. I'll see you in the comments.